name is Ann Sermons Gillis, and I'm a member of Unity of Charleston. And I've been interviewing our members so that we could get to know them better. Today, I'm very pleased to have with me our guest, Lindy Short. Welcome, Lindy.
Hi, Anne. I'm so excited to be doing this.
Yeah, I'm so glad to get to know a little bit more about you. I do know some things about you, but I don't even know where you were born. Where did you come from originally? Where were you born?
Actually, I was born in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, home of Little League Baseball. It's in the middle of the state in a valley surrounded by mountains.
You were born with what in your mouth?
No, the place is surrounded by mountains. There's a river.
Mountains. Okay.
The river's cut through the valley, and it's just beautiful out there.
All right. Well, where do you live now?
I live right outside Monk's Corner in Berkeley Country Club. I've been here for about 35 years.
And so what brought you to this Charleston area?
My mom and dad didn't like the cold weather, so they loaded us kids up, no plan. They were sort of gypsies at heart, and we ran out of money in Charleston. So that's where we settled.
All right. That's funny. So you married or single?
I'm married to the love of my life, Sean Short.
Yeah. And do you have any children? And what are the ages of your children?
Well,
Grandchildren?
between us, we have 5 kids, 2 that are originally mine, 3 that are his. And then we have 12 grandchildren, mostly granddaughters.
All
And
right.
our kids range from 49 to 33. And our grandchildren range from 25 down to 18 months.
Oh, well, that's a big span. Wow.
Keeps us busy. Most of them are right here, so we get to see them a lot.
That is so good. That's great that you get to see them too. Well, what about your career? Do you have a career now, or did you have a career? What is your work?
Well, I retired, but I worked mostly in industry. I worked making glass store fixtures. I made airplane parts for Lockheed, and then I worked at a chemical factory for about 20 years. And then right before I retired, I got to work with my daughter-in-law's daycare. I got to work with 2 and 3 year olds. That was the best job ever. I got paid to play with little kids and introduce them to new things and new experiences in life. So that was really special for me.
Well, did your retirement start because of COVID or was it before?
No, I had worked since I was 17 and I was in my mid 60s, and I decided I was ready for retirement. I wanted to travel a little bit and do some of the things I wanted to do. And I would be making just as much on Social Security as I would have been working. So I decided to take my Social Security and enjoy life.
And go, okay. Well, that's great. Well, how did your spiritual search start? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, with me, I think it started as a small child because I was always that child that questioned everything. And everybody in our family belonged to a different church. So, depending on who I was with, that's the religion of the month. My mom put me in Catholic schools. I was our token Catholic in the family. And I started questioning things. I was that one that wanted to know why must I go to confession this week if I haven't done anything wrong? Or why must I wear ugly little uniforms if God created all these colors? And of course, that didn't sit well with the nuns. And I spent a lot of time in the coat closet in the dark.
Oh,
But in the beginning, in my early 20s, I always thought God was mad at me because I really had a really rough early life. And I sort of wanted to figure out why God was mad at me. And then I got involved with Al Anon, and they showed me a God of my understanding. It wasn't somebody else's God, it was my God, God of my understanding. He wasn't a punishing God, he wasn't a wrathful God, he wasn't a God mad at me. And I learned that, bad things happen to good people, and that God could be my friend and I could take him everywhere with me. And that gave me a quest to find a religious group that met my needs, somebody of like minds. a group that understood what I was thinking and wasn't trying to, as minister said, God called me to talk to you. I'd actually told a minister, I'm sorry, my God's got my number. He won't call you to talk to me.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So you were looking for a church. Now, is that when you found unity, or did you go somewhere
That's
else and
when I
find
found
unity?
I was sort of church shopping, but in the interesting way I found unity. I was working one weekend and I took my lunch break and I was reading the paper and there was a full page article about Unity of Charleston and it had a picture of Reverend Mary Ann. And I read the article and there was something about her smile in that picture. And I was really intrigued. So I told myself, when when I'm off the next Sunday, I am going to find this church because I loved what they had wrote about her and how she started the church. So the following Sunday when I was off, I showed up at Unity of Charleston. And I remember walking in there and then playing the song, Surely God Dwells in This Place. And I sat there and the service was just beautiful. Everyone was welcoming. And I wasn't sure if I was going to go up and talk to her or not, but she found me in the crowd. And she came to me and she says, "You're new here, aren't you?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am." And she talked to me for a minute. And she goes, "Honey, don't go nowhere. Stay here. I want to talk to you after the crowd dies down." And I guess she said she saw this sadness in my face and she wanted to know what was going on with me. And I was in an abusive relationship trying to get out. And the first thing she asked me, was I safe? And she asked me if I was a mother. And I said, yes. And she says, well, you don't want people hurting your children. God doesn't want anybody hurting his child. The important thing for you is to be safe. And we're here for you. And she sat and talked to me for about 30 minutes. And it was the first time somebody cared about me. Somebody wanted to make sure I was okay. Other churches wanted me to bring my ex in and they were going to fix this horrible marriage, where she just wanted me safe. She wanted me out of there where I was happy. And sometimes we just can't fix people. Sometimes we can't want more for them than they want for themselves. And she checked on me after that. Every time she saw me, she'd always come and make sure I was okay. So it was just awesome. I felt welcome there.
That's a beautiful story. And she's talking about Reverend Mary Ann Finch, who was the founder of Unity of Charleston. And so it sounds like she really read your number, huh?
She just seemed to sense it. She had that unique quality about her, making everyone feel wonderful.
That's a wonderful quality to have. Well, so you've been doing this for quite a while. So now at this point in your life, what is your philosophy of life?
I think we're here to serve others. We're all one. We're all in this journey together. And, if you look at it, the sun doesn't shine on itself and the rain doesn't quench its own thirst. Fruit trees don't eat their own fruit. They give back. And that's what I want to do. I want to give back. I want to be of service to others. In Al-Anon, they teach us to keep the program, we have to give it away. And I think that's true about life. Our job is to be loving, kind, and nice to everybody.
Wonderful. Thank you. Well, do you have any favorite books or authors or anything that's really meant a lot to you?
Well, I think, I love the Four Agreements. I'm a big Nicholas Sparks reader. I love the romantic novels with him. I could get lost in those on a rainy afternoon. I love some of the Unity teachings. I just finished reading the Five Principles, and I've read different Unity books that I really enjoy. That sort of helped me answer some of my questions. I loved the book, The Shack. At the time, there were three of us living here at the house, and all three of us were reading the book at the same time. And you could come through and see everybody just boo-hooing, and you knew what part of the book they were at. So anything like that, anything that's a spiritual journey. And then again, like I said, I still love my romantic novels. I'm a big Hallmark fan too.
Oh, me too. I love the Hallmark Channel. Yeah, those things that make us feel good, hopefully, and heal our bodies as we're laughing and as we're romancing with the couple on the screen. So in addition to reading, which is a pleasurable thing, what about hobbies or passions?
Well, as you know, I like to bake. I'm always baking something to bring to church, and I love to cook. I paint. I oil paint. I crochet. I sew. I garden. I have my pets that I like. I read. Uh, I love to watch, like I said, the Hallmark movies with my husband. We'll curl up on a afternoon and just spend the time on the couch laughing. But mostly I think my is probably baking and cooking. I was
Yeah.
raised by my great grandmother, and she always had so many people in the house. And everybody remembers the same thing about her, what a wonderful cook she was. And she could take a little of nothing and feed a table full of people. And her philosophy was nobody ever leaves hungry, and family takes care of family. And that's what I grew up. And like I said, no one will ever leave my house hungry.
I'll be right over.
Come
No,
on,
that's
I'll
great.
feed you.
And I can attest that you are an amazing baker. You make wonderful cakes. They're
Thank you.
indescribable and yummy, yummy, yummy. And so do you have any spiritual practices that you do? I mean, reading could be one. I mean, what are your spiritual practices?
For me, I like to get up early in the morning and I go outside in my pajamas and have coffee on my front porch and watch the hummingbirds come to my feeder. I read the daily word while I'm out there, and I have like 2 or 3 meditations that I read. But I'm that crazy lady in the front porch drinking her coffee. And if you walk by, I'll wave to you. And if you would have told me I was going to do that years ago, I would have never believed you, but I'm rocking it now. Out there in my pajamas with my coffee. Some of
Ah,
my friends call it doing the Lindy.
oh,
And I love doing that. I walk in we have a above ground pool, and I walk and meditate and do positive affirmations. And I walk in this pool for about an hour doing the positive meditations. It's relaxing for me, the sound of the water. And then there's guided meditations that I like to curl up in a chair with some headphones on and do those. My husband and I do Reiki. He does astrological charts, so we sort of follow those. And then I guess maybe Al-Anon. Al-Anon's like a spiritual practice for me of bettering myself. I know I can't change anybody else, but I can change me to be the better version of me, the person I want to be. And that's really helped me a lot in my life. And I do a lot in Al-Anon, a lot of service work there. And for me, that's sort of meditative. I grew up as an adult child of an alcoholic, so I work with kids in Al-Anon. And that seems to heal my inner child, to be able to give back. I almost feel like my higher power had me on this journey as a child so I could be of service to these kids that come into the group now, because I don't act or react to them. I can give them empathy and not sympathy, and I can give them strength, hope, and experience. And that seems to help me by sharing what I've been through and showing them that we all survive this and we can be a better person. We don't have to repeat the cycle.
so not all things are good, but good can come from all things.
That's exactly it. To give
Yeah.
people hope. And by giving back like that, we make the world a better place. If we help one person, then we've done our job.
Yes. And just, I want to thank you so much for being with me today. And I wonder if you have any parting advice or thoughts as we close.
Well, for me, I think, we have to be grateful for what we have because God never shortchanges. Sometimes we feel like we didn't get the parents or the spouse or the environment we wanted. But if we look around, we have everything we need. God always gives us what we need. And until we appreciate what we got, we don't flow in that abundance. So, and then to be of service to others. We're all in this together. We're all one in this. And that, like I used to tell my little 2 and 3 year olds, our job is to be loving, kind, and nice.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Lindy.
No problem. Thank you. I feel honored that you interviewed me.